So you're an expert, right? A consultant, an advisor, someone with some really deep knowledge in your field. You know the big challenge. You've got all this amazing expertise, but how do you actually turn that into a consistent flow of clients? And, do it without feeling like you're some pushy salesperson all day long?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's something so many of us struggle with. So in this explainer, we're going to break down a proven blueprint for doing exactly that. We're going to look at how one expert, Thomas Geerkens from a company called Connor, completely cracked this code.
All right, here's our roadmap. We'll kick things off with the core problem every expert faces. Then we'll get into a really clever dual brand strategy. We'll look at the content that makes it all work, map out the entire client journey, and then the important part, connect it all to getting contracts signed. Definitely stick around, because at the end, we're going to wrap it all up into a blueprint you can actually use. Okay, let's start with the classic struggle. You have poured years into becoming a master of your craft, but you don't have a reliable, repeatable way to get new clients. It feels like you're stuck in that feast or famine cycle. Either you're buried in work or you're desperately looking for the next project. There's no smooth in between. So the answer isn't just to, create more content. It's not about randomly posting articles or shooting videos and hoping for the best. The real solution, and this is what Tomas Geerkens figured out, is to build an interconnected system. A system where every single piece of content has a very specific job to do, all designed to guide a potential client from "who's this" to "where do I sign?" So where do we start building? Well, the foundation of this whole blueprint is this fascinating idea about brand. It's not about building one brand. It's about building two that work together in perfect harmony. And it's all based on a really simple truth. People connect with people, but companies buy from companies. This slide lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got Thomas Geerkens, the expert brand. He's the friendly, accessible face you meet first. He builds that crucial human trust. But on the other side, you have Connor, the corporate brand. That's what brings the scale, the credibility, the official methodology that makes a big business feel safe signing a check. See how it works? The expert builds the trust, and the company provides the low-risk, scalable way to deliver the project. So you've got these two brands working together. How do you feed them? Well, not with random bits of content. You do it with a whole ecosystem, where every format, every piece, is designed to interlock and tell one powerful, consistent story. It basically comes down to three core types of content. First, you have your deep dive educational stuff, the long-form articles and interviews that flat out prove you know your stuff. Second, you've got conversation media, things like podcasts or live talks where people can actually hear your voice and get a feel for how you think. And third, you need social proof, like getting featured in newsletters, which basically tells the world, hey, other smart people think this person is worth listening to. I just love this quote because it perfectly nails LinkedIn's role in all of this. It's not just another social media platform. It's the rhythm section. It's the engine driving this entire system. It pushes people out to your deep dive articles. It pulls them into a live talk. And most importantly, it qualifies your audience by naturally attracting the exact people who have the problems you are built to solve. It keeps the whole thing moving. Okay, so we've got the brands and we've got the content ecosystem. Now, for the magic, let's look at how all this comes together to create a client journey. Because having great content is one thing. The real genius here is the deliberate, carefully designed path it creates for people, guiding them from a first glance all the way to a meaningful, qualified conversation. And that journey follows a pretty predictable 5-stage funnel. It all starts with awareness. They need to know you exist and that you might be able to solve a problem they have. Then comes consideration, where they start exploring their options. After that is evaluation, where they're weighing if you are the right choice for them. Then the decision to move forward, and finally engagement, where the actual work begins. And this is where the system really clicks into place. It's not just a theory, it is incredibly methodical. Just look at this map. For that first awareness stage, that's where your LinkedIn insights and newsletter mentions come in. For consideration, you use those deep dive articles to map their problems to your methods. For evaluation, a strategic white paper shows them what best-in-class looks like. Every single step has a specific content asset designed to help the prospect take that next step. It is a beautifully engineered path. All right, so the system has worked. It's delivered an educated, qualified prospect who is genuinely ready to talk business. So how do you make that transition from a great conversation to a signed contract as smoothly as possible? This is where the mechanics of conversion come in. The key is this brilliant concept called conversion primitives. Now think of them like this. They aren't some vague promise of help. They are concrete, tangible, easy to scope many projects. They're the perfect bridge from that first chat to a formal project because they remove all the guesswork about what happens next. Just look at these examples. A desk review, an audit track, a program design session. These aren't huge, scary six-figure commitments. They are small, tangible, bite-sized projects. This makes it incredibly easy for a potential client to say yes, because that first step is clear, it's low risk, and it delivers value right away. This is how you kill sales friction. Okay, so we've seen the whole system in action. Now, let's boil all of this down into a direct, actionable set of takeaways that you can start thinking about for your own practice, like today. But before we dive into the specific steps, we have to lock in the core philosophy that powers this entire strategy. It's right here. Share what you know so you can sell what you can do. Don't hoard your knowledge, because in today's world, teaching is the new selling. By being generous with your expertise, you build the trust that makes it possible to sell your services. So here it is, your blueprint. Step 1, name your stack. Get super specific about your services, just like those conversion primitives. Step 2, speak the language of growth. Don't frame what you do as a cost, frame it as a benefit. Step 3, build a content spine. Create those durable, authoritative assets that will work for you for years. And finally, step 4, borrow credibility, then compound it. Get featured on other platforms, then use that to build your own audience and authority over time. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Don't try to build this entire machine overnight. That's overwhelming. Just look at that 4-step blueprint and ask yourself, what is the very first block you can put in place for your own practice, starting right now?